What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Burndown YouTube channel. Today's a big day and it's been a long road. I'm very excited. The motivation is finally coming back because I've been getting drained. And if you've been following along on the Maliboom, you know that I made a hard decision a couple years back. I brought this home from LS Fest West 2022 and took a hard look at it and decided, do I want to just race this thing and have some fun? Or would I like to take it to some of the bigger drag and drive events and make it more of a street car than a race car and change my whole setup? Well, you guys know how that story turned out. We basically changed pretty much everything but the rear end, and that'll get changed at some point, just not this go around. But we went with a new trans tunnel, larger tires, all the sheet metal work, put all the stuff in there, and we've been waiting and waiting. And then yesterday I took a road trip, went to visit my boys at War Performance, and we picked up some loaner goodies. So we are good to go. I can pull the mock-up motor out, and then that is going to be the unit that I'm going to use for Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0, which is in 14 days, mind you. But the Bullet is over here. She's ready to rock and roll and go in. So we are going to mate these two today, drop it in after I take the mock-up stuff out. Before I do that, I got a couple little things we got to button up, so it'll probably take me majority of the day to put a motor in. I know you guys are probably like, oh boo, that's way too long, you suck. But we're gonna do it right here on the floor. I'm not gonna hurry. Again, I'm in the strategic mode of getting stuff done and trying to pace myself, because I only want to do it once. I don't want to make mistakes because we don't have the time to go backwards. So it does me no good to thrash and slam stuff together and then miss something. So we're gonna take our time when we get this motor in. I got to drill some cross member bolts from underneath, cut one of the plates down and weld the mid plate a bit better than it was before we slide things in, so it's not going to be a exchange. But I'm going to quit talking. It is in the morning. I'm hoping before sundown we have a Bullet and a transmission that are ready to rock and roll, and I even have a drive shaft. We're going to put the whole kit caboodle in this thing, and I'm going to feel much better about life, because then at that point we're bolting on parts, we're doing final assembly, and then we'll get down to wiring some other things and hoping to make some noise with this thing, I would say, by next week. And then I'd like to start road testing the thing, and I think that's as far as we're going to get. I think the track time that this is going to see is going to be when we get out to, I believe it's Kearney is the first stop. I think that might be the first time this setup actually makes it down the track, but I don't care. We're trying to go for the street car aspect of it, and what I'm telling myself this go around is, if you can't do the drive portion and you can't get from track to track, you can't win anyways. So it doesn't matter how fast the car is. So this go around is about proving out the reliability and drivability of this setup. If we have to make changes, we will. But I feel like we are miles and leagues ahead of where we were before. And other than having whatever unforeseen issue, I feel like we set this setup with the cooling and everything we have on here up for success. So thank you for listening to me ramble. Let's put some parts in, man. Hell yeah. Ta-da, the mock-up motor is out. As usual, it is a crime murder scene. I had it like super vertical, so I put it on this one thinking it would make life easier, but anyway, we got it out. It's lunchtime. I don't know about you guys, but I get hangry, so I'm gonna take a break here, put some stuff on that. I'm really excited to just roll around transmission fluid. I should probably just do it before I get some lunch. That way I can really get the ambiance going with my sandwich. But we'll clean that up a bit. I need some food. And yeah, things that should be easy for 100, Alex. Okay, these are welded on the back side on both of those. I'm not gonna climb in and show you because it's a pain, but I did it. Welder guy is there. So we did that. I also cut down, there was like the edge that was in the way for the fuel, so we cut that down because it was hanging down where where the transmission lines pass, and I had a wonky cut because I was afraid, so we got that cut flush so we have room here for the transmission lines. And then I contoured this a bit better so that where the fuel lines come through, it's not rubbing or touching on anything. So this guy's all done, and then I have a rattle can my little mid plate over here just to make it not rust color. Not that it matters, we got a lot of rust color going on, but you know, we're trying to do things correctly around here. I'm gonna keep rolling and figure out what I have to do next. I think what we'll do, is I need to fit this, and then this has some extra bolts that I bought from ITC Billet to help it stabilize it a bit better. I didn't run it on the test fit, but I will bolt this down and figure out where those go, because those will stay on the block when I put this in, and then when I go to put this in, they'll already be there to screw it down to. And then one last thing before I let you guys go, I don't need this big old donkey wing thing because my transmission sits here, and then I marked how it goes in the car. So I'm gonna cut this guy off. There's really no reason to have that, and it kind of hides the pan bolts. So I have to drop the pan and check the level when we get that far of the dipstick. So it's a different transmission I'm not used to. I got a brand new dipstick going in it. So when you put all that in, I'll show you guys how I check the level, because if your transmission is not in gear or is not full of fluid, or you cook it, those are basically the ways to kill it. Granted, you could have a hard parts failure as well, but typically one of the other three is what's gonna get you. So we'll cut this off, and then that'll be ready to go back in. And then I got holes to get in the car and drill for this as well, the extra holes. We're going. All right, we are moseying along, and then this cover is a little different. We had to trim this up, so I'm glad I fit this instead of trying to fit it in the car, because I would have been like, oh man. So we got that fit. And then I opened these holes up. I figured these holes that are not used, you can see my brackets go here, here, there, and there. I'll still put bolts through here, and then these, if it's convenient, just to hold this plate against the motor. Not that it doesn't have enough hardware anyway. Then we got the ITC billet guys in here, so hopefully these don't intrude on anything, but that's just extra added strength on this side. So we're moving along. We got that all knocked out. I'm gonna crawl underneath and drill some holes for the cross member. And we're getting close, man. I'm excited. I'm also going to do a nut cert on that, so I don't have a bolt through, right? So I'm thinking that. And then while this is still out, I want to nut cert that guy, and then I want to get another grippy dude on here somewhere, somehow. Like I've got one here. I think I'd like to get someone over here to hang out and hold it. Granted, my exhaust is here, so maybe not. This isn't a good area. Yeah, well, we got the two. I don't know. Maybe we can get down in here. Throw a Chingadera over there. So we'll see. I'll play it by ear. I'll bring you guys back when I make decisions. All right, I want to share this with you guys because this is one of those deals where I keep telling you guys that it doesn't probably seem to you like I'm frantically freaking out and trying to slam stuff together. And that's because I'm not. I'm trying to cross my T's, dot my I's, like cutting that thing off. That takes time. But when I was laying underneath there looking at it, I'm like, man, if I had to drop the pan, that would be terrible and it'd be hard to get it. So if I do that now, I'm gonna save a lot of time later when I have to drop the pan and measure the dipstick and all that anyway. But if I thought there was some issue or I had to do something like that, it would make life easier. Well, looking at this and fitting the front plate, I had this on the shelf and I remember, I'm like, I can't forget that. This is the flex plate spacer because we have the mid plate. And I had this guy bolted down and this was not there. So I can't afford mistakes like that. No harm, no foul, we caught it. But again, I'm gonna cross my T's and dot all my I's. I think this was hopefully the last thing that we miss. I'll just say that much. I'm not gonna jinx myself, but we're gonna just continue to move slow and precise and get this thing done. We're getting later in the day, but I'm gonna continue until this thing is in. So if we gotta pull the crack headlights out or whatever we gotta do, because tomorrow is the swap meet, so I gotta pick up pants because I don't have pants for, you know, safety pants dance. And then my boy, it's Hot Wheel day. I mean, I can't tell the boy that he can't go shop for Hot Wheels. He does all his chores and he makes his he earns his money, so he has money saved up and he's fired up. So whew, so much for sleeping, Dane, so much for sleeping. We're gonna have fun though, and that's the whole point. All right, welcome to the food portion of this episode. So this package came in this morning and I got the Danish Kringle from Racine, Wisconsin. So here's the deal. In the afternoons, I like to have a cup of coffee when I start, you know, just lugging. And like I said, I'm not in a hurry. We're gonna get this done today, but I was like, you know what? It's coffee time. And then Phil hit me up and asked me if I got my package. And this came this morning. I had no idea what it was. I thought the wife bought it, so I just stuffed it in the fridge. So we're gonna try this together. And thank you very much, Phil, for the break. So I got my coffee and I got my Danish. Let's try this thing. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. I could eat this all day. This is gonna give me the diabetes. Wow, this thing's fantastic. Oh, look at did you hear her, their mouth all full? All right, Phil, thank you very much, brother. I'm gonna eat this, drink some coffee. We're gonna get back after it. Hey, don't eat all my Danish. Finally, that time. Throw the converter in there, mate these two, and then try to send her on home. So, first and foremost, before we get started, check this thing out. So, Jason made this. I don't know if he made it, had it. He just handed it to me. This is cool. It is a spark plug holder. So you can gap your plugs, throw them in here, and then you got a gap set of plugs, and then you don't have to worry about them rattling around or the plug gap changing. So that is very cool. So thank you very much for that. So that was just an extra gimme. Then they gave me all the stuff in the bag. So this is my harness, and then they gave me a new O-ring. So we're gonna change the O-ring on the input shaft. We'll lube this up before we slide the converter over. So we'll do that first. Converter in. I got my longer studs, I guess. I don't know. These are the studs that the transmission usually hangs on. So these are the long ones, also from my boys at War. So we'll change that out, mate this up, and then I have the converter and hardware down there. So once we get that all in place, we'll set this down, and then we should be able to draw it up to this guy. And I will have to check my converter length. We should be good, but we'll double check that because that's part of the deal, because all this stuff is new. So I'm not assuming everything works properly. So give me a minute, I'll bring you back when this is all mated up, and then maybe we can time lapse while I do the struggle to try to slide it on home. I'm getting tired, we're slowing down, but I really want to hit this milestone today. So turn the camera off, keep going, Dane. All right, I'm gonna show you guys, but you know it's bad when your GoPro quits. Like the GoPro straight gave up. I think it ran out of battery, but we got it complete. But I got held up by the ITC bracket. This guy, it was sitting on one of the bolts, and then this was hitting the mount, I forget where, on this side. So what I'm thinking is we'll just cut it off. So I got everything in, and then we'll just try to fit this back in. So I'll just shave it down until it works. I mean, if I got 2 out of the 3, and then on the front side, that's better than 0, right? So bam, ta-da, look at it, look at it. And then I got, nothing's tight, so all the bolts are in place, but nothing's tight. And it kept standing up, dude, and I was having a time. But there's this mount, and then that other one goes down here, and it was hitting this. And I didn't know, because last time I didn't put these in when we did all the mock-up stuff. But regardless, it is all in. Probably can't see nothing, but I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, so now you can see. So we got room for the sensors, plugs. I put a little dimple on the side up top, so we got some clearance for that. We got clearance all the way around on the side, and then we ran with the banjo fittings here and here, and then those will go over to my guys up there. So we've got clearance, we should be good to go. Yeah, man, look at that, bolted in. Got my side bolts, and again, all this is loose. We'll address it, but I am not doing it right now. The sun is basically down. I'm tired, and then wrestling with stuff. You know, this is the first time that this has all been in there complete, right? So I'm excited. The work starts now. I don't even know how many days we have. We're running out of time, but we are assembling now. We are not making stuff. I have some wiring, things like that, but all the hardcore fab stuff should be good to go. So as long as the motor fires up well, makes oil pressure, does the things, the transmission shifts, it cools itself, we are going to be ready. So hopefully we can make some noise. I'll try to keep you guys posted. Again, we'll just do the walk and talk videos. I wanted to share this with you guys because this is a milestone. You guys know I've been struggling. You know we're running out of time. Big shout out, first and foremost, I mean, to pretty much all of my sponsors, but War Performance has been amazing. We wouldn't even be this far if they didn't step up and help me out. And to tell you the honest truth, we would be taking that apart, because that was my plan C, was to pull the transmission out of that and put it in here, which really is not set up in any stretch for this, but if that's what it took to get me to the race, that's what we were going to do. But instead, we'll just beat up War's parts and they'll be there to watch me do it. So I'm excited. I'm going to clean up. I got to try to get a little bit of rest. I appreciate all you guys. Phil, for the pastries, man, you are awesome. And again, everybody for supporting, subscribing, the whole nine. And I just want to do well for you guys. Have a good show and have a good time. I'm out.